Hello guys and welcome back to Planet 40k. We've got a Tyranids list build video for you today. Now, don't know if you saw the previous video with it was a Necron list, so maybe you Tyranid players didn't actually watch it. But me and Demon Prince Powie have got a bit of an in-house tournament thing going off. It's a 4 factions versus 4 factions kind of thing. It's only 1 versus 1. We weren't going to really film it, but I thought, you know what, why not film it and show you guys the actual matches and the lists? It makes more sense, doesn't it? This is YouTube after all. So we're playing Tyranids, Necrons, Chaos Demons and Space Marines. So both of us are going to play all of those factions. There'll be no mirror matches. So in total, if every faction plays one another, minus the mirror matches, that should be 12 matches. So the previous game it was Necrons versus Demon Prince Powie, Space Marines. Today we've got Tyranids. I'm playing Tyranids. Well, I've got the list today for Tyranids going up against the Chaos Demons. So this actual battle report will be going out on Demon Prince Powie's channel, Demon Prince Gaming. So if you've yet to follow him, give him a little subscribe and you'll see that battle report coming up. I mean, we're due to play it tomorrow evening. So whenever he's filmed it and ready to go, or whenever he's edited it and ready to go, it'll be up on his channel. But yeah, as for my list, it's 1,000 points as well, by the way. It's a 1,000 point tournament. We've trimmed it to 1,000 rather than 2 because we want to get as many games in as possible. And if we've got 12 games to do in this mini tournament, we may as well crack on with it. 1,000 points. So I've got the Tyranids draw today, and I'm going to be playing the Synaptic Nexus. Synaptic Nexus is where you choose the imperatives every battle round. You've got the option of 3. We've got 3, sorry, and you can choose them only once. And that would mean out of the 5 battle rounds, only 3 of them are going to actually have Synaptic imperatives. One of them is a 5+ invulnerable save, one is the +1 to advance on charge rolls, and the other one is a +1 to hit roll in melee. So that's the Synaptic Imperatives ability. I will talk about why I've selected this in the tactics section of this video. So after this list, I'm going to go through my common stratagems that I'm probably going to use, as well as the tactics I'm going to hopefully use against the Chaos Demons. One more thing before we get into the list. You might be thinking, well, you're probably tailor listing. We're not really tailor listing. I mean, we're sort of semi-tailor listing. Semi-tailor listing. Tailoring listing. You know what I mean. I can't even get my words right. We're semi-doing that because I don't know what he's going to bring. I don't know whether he's going to go infantry horde, whether he's going to go big demons. I don't really know. And I'm just kind of trying to do my own thing with a few extra perks that will maybe benefit against a demon player. And likewise, he's going to be doing the same against a Tyranid faction. That's all we know. We don't know what's coming. Right, let's get into this list then. We've already spoken about the detachment rule. Warlord of this list is the Swarm Lord, the very expensive Swarm Lord at 230 points. So not only is he a CP farm for Tyranid players, but he's also got the malign presence where he can increase the CP of an enemy stratagem, or battle tactic enemy stratagem, by 1. And there's one in particular, again, I'll talk about it later on in the video. There's one in particular that you need to worry about when playing demons. Next, we've got a Neuro Tyrant, providing some more synapse, and there's an enhancement on this Neuro Tyrant, which is the psychostatic disruption for 30 points. It's quite an expensive enhancement. I think it's going to be useful for this match. And basically, enemy reserve units cannot deploy within 12 inches of the bearer. So it's a little bit like infiltrators for Space Marines. And not only that, the bearer can use this ability to have a 4+ deny. So if your opponent is trying to bring in reserves in, once per battle, you can roll a dice on a 4+, they're not coming in, which is kind of cool. Next, we've got a Biovore. Now, I don't believe I've got the new Biovore. Just thinking about this now, I think I've still got the old Biovore. I've totally messed that up, but I'm going to have to go with that now because I haven't got time to go and buy one and paint one for tomorrow. But we've got the Biovore with, he's going to be shooting out the Spore Mines. So we've got 2 units of 11 Neurogaunts. So they're going to be the Synapse Beacons. They're also good little anti-deep strike kind of units. You spread them out as much as you can. At 1,000 points, it's going to be very difficult because the map sizes are still big. It's not like 9th edition anymore where they cut the map size in half. So that's going to be hard. We're going to have to try and defend a certain area, maybe. We've then got 2 units of 3 Raveners for 150 points in total. I am tempted to actually keep the bioweapons, you know. I might keep the bioweapons, in fact. I'm not sure. That one, a little bit on the fence. I may come back to that one What's better? You're getting 3 shots per model with the 6 of them. That's 18 shots at strength 4 with assault. You know what? It might be worth keeping. 5+ armor save though does stink. You know what? I think I'm going to keep the bioweapons. I think I'm going to keep the bioweapons. We'll see if that works out or not. We don't know. We've then got 3 units of individual Ripper Swarms, because they've got deep strike and they're 20 points a model. They're fantastic. Such an underrated unit for Tyranids, and I'm going to be using them for scoring. You might have noticed already there's quite a lot of scoring units in this list. I've got then the final units is 2 units of 3 Zone Thropes for 220 points. Quite expensive. I need something to fire, some anti-monster, anti-vehicle. Well, there's no vehicles, but there is vehicles. Soul Grinders, in fact, if you bring Soul Grinders, maybe. But either way, I need anti-something like that, because my list, apart from the Swarm Lord, but as you guys know, kind of dips at strength 9 unless you get. There's a few other things that go beyond strength 9. The Tyranids I could have taken, but going up against demons that can literally rush you. If you go first as well, they can rush you by turn 1. So having units that are just sitting ducks like a Tyranids, I think wouldn't be the best idea. I'd rather get 2 units of 3 Zone Thropes. I can spread them out. I can spread the Synapse about. I can also spread the Invantaves about, and the ranged weapons, of course, as well. Now let's move into the common stratagems that I hope to use in this game. The first is Smothering Shadow. So it's 1 CP in any phase once an enemy unit fails a Battleshock test. If they're within 12-inch range of a Synapse unit, then you roll 6 dice and any 3+ if they suffer a mortal wound. Quite like that. That's an average of 4 mortal wounds. There's no cap on it or anything. I will be hoping to do that one. Irresistible Will, which is a battle tactic stratagem. Not that that matters too much because I don't have a Hive Tyrant or anything, but 1 CP, shooting or fight phase, 1 Synapse unit that's not been selected to shoot or fight, and also visible within 24 inches of an enemy unit. Basically get to reroll your hit rolls and your wound rolls of a 1. Very likely going to be using that on the Zone Thropes. We don't want to be missing with the Warp Blasts. We've also got Override Instincts, which is the third one I want to mention today. In the movement phase, you can be selecting units to fall back and shoot or fall back and charge. Again, I'm thinking about them Zone Thropes. If they do get caught in engagement range, I want to be shooting with them every battle round as long as they're alive. So being able to fall back and shoot will be very good with Override Instincts. Now, as for the actual tactics for this list against the Chaos Demons, firstly, I've got to look at the detachment rule. We've only got 3 options out of the 5 battle rounds, of course. So we need to kind of select carefully about what imperatives are going where. Demons have a lot of ways of getting in quick, as I said earlier in this video. They've got a 3-inch away stratagem. I can't remember the name of it now. And then they can also come in alongside Bellicor because he creates like a Shadow of Chaos. So they've got a stratagem to come in their own Shadows of Chaos, I think it's called. And then when you combine it with their detachment roll, which is within 6 inches if they're within their own shadow, not 9. Normally if you deep strike, it's a 9-inch restriction, isn't it? If they're within their own shadow, it's 6 inches. So again, Bellicor could be there. He can create his own shadow. 6 inches. It's a very easy charge. 6-inch charge. So I mean, you could literally have Bloodthirsters knocking on your door turn 2. So turn 2, I'm possibly looking at the Invan saves. I mean, they're not going to come into play for the Zone Thropes, but the rest of the list, that may come into play just to keep them up and just alive a little bit longer. I mean, thankfully, we won't be failing too many Battleshock tests because there's another issue with demons. They basically cause you mortal wounds if you fail Battleshock, but Tyranids at least have if they're within Synapse, you get the 3 dice, and most of this list has Synapse or will be within Synapse range. The +1 advance and charge and the +1 to hit melee, to be honest, probably won't be that effective if I'm honest with you, because, well, first of all, I don't have that many melee units here. It's all sort of secondary scoring. I mean, the Swarm Lord, maybe I use it if I want to get him into a fight, but fighting against demons is not the best idea. They normally just slap. They hit you like a truck. If them Bloodthirsters are in there, even the ones that aren't meant to be that good at fighting, like the Great Unclean one, and what's that big chicken looking thing called? I always forget the names of it. Keeper of Secrets, is it? Or Karanak? I don't know. They've got a lot of beastie units that can do a lot of damage to us, and I don't really want to be in engagement range that often. Not that often. We've also got a lot of Synapse, as we've said. We've got the Synapse nodes from the Neuro Tyrant. We've also got the Neuro Gaunts for extra Synapse beacons. And yeah, the Neurogaunts and the Neuraloids, isn't it? Are they called Neuraloids? Yeah, they're called Neuraloids, the ones with the Neuro Tyrant. So there's a lot of Synapse, which unlocks, of course, a lot of potential with the Stratagems, because you need Synapse with the Stratagems. Now, the only units that can really do damage are the Zoanthropes and the Swarmlord. The rest are just here, they're just there to play cards. They're just there to play the secondary cards if you're playing tactical. Now, I was actually thinking about this just before pressing record, and I think maybe it's worth me looking at the fixed stuff, because I've got a lot of units here that can score. And they can score, like for example, if I selected deploy teleport homers and behind enemy lines. We've got the Biovores with the Spore Mines, which will fire in a Spore Mine each turn. You've got the 3 Ripper Swarms with Deep Strike. You've got the 2 units of Raveners with Deep Strike, and they've got the Death from Below ability, so they can keep coming in and out in your every time it's your turn. So deploy teleport homers and behind enemy lines actually might be quite good, and demons don't want to stay in their own objective area. They don't want to stay in their own deployment area. They want to be moving off and just taking stuff out. Maybe even attacking my outpost. So by firing things into their area, it either will hold them back or they'll just let me score. So I think I might go with fixed missions, you know, which is not... I've done it a few times and it's not gone well. It's not gone well at all. I think I haven't planned it well enough, but I think I've got enough units to do that. Now with the Biovores, the Rippers and the Raveners, out of those 3 units, it's only the Biovores that can do the scoring in turn 1, because turn 1 is usually a problem when you're playing fixed. Getting deployed teleport homers turn 1 is difficult. I mean, the Raveners can do it turn 1, because if you start them on the battlefield and you go second, then in your opponent's, at the end of your opponent's turn, you can pull them off. And then in your start of your reinforcement step of your first turn, you can actually bring them back on, because the Leviathan rules do not apply to units that start on the battlefield. You'll find that in the little Leviathan pamphlet. It's only units that start on the battlefield that get restricted to coming in at turn 3. So there are ways of doing it with the Raveners, but the Biovore and the Spore Mines could deploy homers and be behind enemy lines. It'll only be 1 unit though. As for the other units, I mean, the Zoanthropes can be shielded with the Neurogaunts, so maybe they won't be within engagement range, hopefully. We've got to go through the 11 little Gaunts first, so that's going to prevent charges to them. The Swarmlord needs to be sent out on enemy units trying to score objectives, maybe in the No Man's Land. Maybe it's a Soul Grinder, maybe it's a unit of Bloodletters, maybe it's a unit of Blood Crushers. Depends what he brings, right? I think the Swarmlord needs to go against them kind of units, the Scorers, not so much the Bloodthirsters, not so much the big bad stuff, and let him deal with the sort of medium, the medium stuff where he can definitely win. I mean, if he goes after like Shalaxi Hellbane, he's done within 1 turn. I've seen that thing just annihilate stuff, so I don't want to see that. Or Scarbrand just slaps 6 damage every time. He's an absolute nightmare. So yeah, the Swarmlord will not be going anywhere near those if he can help it, although they are quite fast. So I think I'll be feeding the Neurogaunts to those big and bad monsters. I won't be charging, but I'll just sort of be surrounding them, forcing them to charge them, forcing the demons to charge the Neurogaunts. I'm not going to throw away a fight phase because they'll just die. I just don't feel our Codex has anything that can take out that caliber of enemy unit anymore. So really, I'm protecting the Zoanthropes at all costs. Hopefully they're going to be blasting off the enemy units. Primary scoring may be an issue, I'm not going to lie, it may be an issue. The Gaunts may have to hold for a turn. It all depends on the primary mission, I guess. It depends what card we draw. I think the Raveners may be clutch though in this list, and that's why I've got 2 units of them. I've just gone out only this week and brought myself 2 units of Raveners. I think they're such a good unit, and hopefully I proved you right in that battle report. Although, am I optimistic against Chaos Demons with this Tyranid Codex? Not really. I'm going to give it a go, and yeah, check out the battle report when that comes out at some point in this month, I guess. See you then.